Hello everyone, this is your host BBGamer, and welcome to another showcasing of my evolutions that I'm going to show off today. For the next one that I'm going to show off, it's of course Jolteon. It's one of those speedy types that I really enjoy because I like how fast Jolteon is, and it's also another favorite of mine. I mean, definitely like the all the evolutions for what they are, how they look, and their basic strengths and weaknesses. Jolteon is very fast and quite possibly the speediest out of all the evolutions. And back then, in the red, blue, and yellow era of the Pokemon games, I really enjoy trying to get a Jolteon in order to plow through other trainers back then. But then again, people sometimes also like using Vaporeon more in those games because Vaporeon was basically the GOAT back then, and it still is for certain other games as well. But in all innocence, I guess it's time to show the cards. Here's one of them, as you can tell, but if you don't mind me with the glare and all that, but I tried my best. As you can see, this one's one from the Evolving Skies, and sometimes I consider the Evolving Skies to be the GOAT, and is kind of like the one booster pack of cards that really got me back into collecting Pokemon cards again. And here is the secret alt art style of Jolteon. Another one that costed me a pretty penny. I mean, it took me like a couple of years in order to get this one. I mean, trying to get certain other cards and booster packs is just quite challenging with everything that's been going on during this past couple of months. And I still am a bit bitter towards the people that buy those prismatic evolutions in bulk. But I won't keep that from getting me down, because hopefully they'll start selling individual packs and maybe I can get some. I mean, the odds of getting the ones that I want is going to be exceptionally low, but what do I care? Here's another one. This one's from the Gary's line, of course, as you can see. I do like how the Jolteon attacks with its mane using its electricity. But then again, this is another one of my favorites that I keep in my collection. Let's see. And here we have is the full art of this Jolteon right here. I mean, yeah, you could definitely tell that I'm just a big sucker for all these evolutions, but for one, I don't like trying to I don't like using a lot of money in order to buy a single card, which is the reason why I try to aim for getting these booster packs or trying it the other way. But sometimes, if the booster packs are out and I can't get them anymore, I try to look for other ways. And here is the Jolteon. I mean, VMAX Jolteon, and I heard that back then this Jolteon was quite popular from the Evolving Skies set. And of course, aside from that one, is the alt art of Jolteon that I kept from a friend that gave me this by trading certain cards. I kept this one for a very long time, and I still do cherish it quite a bit. And now we have some other older cards, like this Jolteon GX right here. get try to give you guys a good look at it though too. I mean, it's hard to do thing to show it off with a camera like this, but I gotta start somewhere. I'm not I'm not like trying to become a popular person, but I'm trying my best. I mean, I have a job, and I'm trying to make time to do these videos at least nightly. But sometimes work drains me a bit, but I just want to try to keep getting content out for you guys, so that way I could be just as relevant to people out there and show people that of my hobbies that I love. And as you can see from the background, there are other things that I enjoy. But my most main thing is, of course, Pokemon. And here is another Jolteon EX that's one of my favorites. I mean, I do like these Pokemon, and I will hardly part from them because they're my absolute favorites back then. And here's a full art EX Jolteon. I mean, whenever I get any of these cards, I immediately put them in the sleeve and just store them inside my binder. Because I know for a fact that these cards would eventually cost a pretty penny, and people will pay a lot of money for it, but it will be very hard for me to part away from some of these cards because I cherish them. I cherish them a lot. Because who wouldn't? They're my favorites. They're my favorite Pokemon. And now, here's one of the older cards that I kept inside of my basically inside of my attic upstairs. This one is the very first version of Jolteon back then. I wish I could get the glare out, but what can I do? But I will say that this one is what got me still hooked into Pokemon back then when I was just a wee little teenager back then. Always carrying, Game Boy, those bulky Game Boys around, and trading with others. And it was pretty simple back then. Maybe I should have kept collecting Pokemon cards. And now here's one of Light Jolteon. It's a common card, but yeah, like I said, regardless of commonality or other normal cards or holos or whatever, I still like to keep them. And then its counterpart, Dark Jolteon. Kind of like how it looks, charging up a lot of electricity and readying for a huge attack there. And it's a first edition too. I don't know how much this thing would be worth, but even for a common card. And now, here we have this version of Jolteon. I mean, like I said before, a big Pokemon fan. I've been collecting these cards for a couple years. It's mostly because of the full art styles they did for Sword and Shields back then that kind of got me hooked. But I was kind of like waiting on the evolutions, and once they did show, I guess you could say I didn't look back. I just started collecting from here on out. And here's another Jolteon that I have. Let's see. These are those level mons. And here's another version of another little Jolteon. I like how happy it looks shooting out all of its sparks. It's so adorable. Even if you do want to give it a hug, you should be careful of its spiny mane and tail. And here's a full holo of a Jolteon. It is kind of hard to see because of the glossiness of the hollow, but I try to make do and get a good angle for it. Hopefully you guys were able to get a good look at this. And I do like the little art for it too. Many people have their talents in arts, but as for me, I've already started on my skills on written stuff, and I've done so for the past year or so right now. I'm currently doing something right now, but I'll talk about it during in the next video. So here we have a species Jolteon. As you can tell, there's a little insignia on the top right there that you can see right there. I do like this card variant, so gotta get a good look at it though too. Quite a lot of these Jolteons, and there are plenty more where this came from. And here's another version. Let's get a good look at it. I mean, these evolutions are just pretty darn adorable. I mean, I do want to try to build a good deck with these evolutions in mind and see how far I can go. And here we have the plasma version of Jolteon. Looks ready for a fight, of course. But then again, what can you do? Because it's a part of an evil team. It does break my heart knowing that these evolutions are working for forces of evil, but it does look cool in a sense, having these dark versions of the Pokemon that I adore with. And here we have another one. It looks a little proud, and I like the little glossy hollow to it. And I hope I try not to be as boring as I can, but I don't. I'm just a normal person, just living my life. Okay, let's see what we got here. Now this one's a little bit of an interesting one. This one is an EX version of a Jolteon card, but it has some sort of a signature to it, if you guys can see. I mean, I wouldn't know what this signature references as, but I kind of like the design of the card, and well, I decided to get it. Okay, got a couple more. See, here we have another Jolteon. It's charging up an attack, of course. I kind of like these poses and the artist designing these Pokemon in each of these cards. I mean, the cards themselves are designed by different illustrators, and I hear that there's sometimes the Pokemon Company get does some sort of contest for certain people or places to see which illustration they can use for Pokemon cards, and some of these illustrations are pretty good. And here we have a shiny version of Jolteon. It's a green. I don't know why it's green, but it looks kind of weird. But still, it's interesting. And I kind of admit it makes it look a little strange. And here's a full hollow of Jolteon. And then this version of Jolteon. The last card that I have with me of the Jolteon line right now is, of course, from the current booster pack, the Prismatic Evolutions. But like the others, they're Japanese, and this one's a Pokeball version of it. I mean, you could tell by the look, by how it is, if you could see it. This is the reason why I kind of am miffed that I can't get any of these cards, because this the scalpers are just taking everything for themselves to sell at a high price. But I'm not going to go through that whole rant again. But basically, that's all the Jolteons that I have. As you may know, as you already know, big Pokemon fan, and I have plenty more evolutions to show, with the next one being Espeon, which I'm going to show tomorrow. But all I can say is I thank you all for at least sticking with me and trying to see the cards that I have with me right now. But it would very much please me if you subscribe to my channel, so that way I can bring in more content. And even if my content isn't like how impressive it is, and even if I'm not that of a impressive of type of guy to you all, I still want to do this. Because I feel like I want to try to promote more on Pokemon, because I feel like I wanted to try to start something along with the company, because I know for a fact there's a lot of others out there that are making bank on trying to get a lot of stuff from them. But I'm a genuine person that really enjoys Pokemon for what it is, instead of just monopolizing on it. I may not be like a top ranked Pokemon player for the games or the cards, but I want to be an honest to goodness Pokemon fan. And my love for these evolutions is proof enough of that. That's the reason why I'm doing these videos. I want to show to you all that I care for people that enjoy Pokemon for what it is, instead of just for monetary value. But again, I thank you all for taking your time to watch the video. If you like, leave a comment, like and subscribe, and I'll see you again on the next video. Take care, everyone.